once you have all your files imported, you've gone out and shot, you just want to go through everything and drag it into your timeline, basically, like I've already done. And you just want to like find the good shots, and then we can start editing. So from there, we're gonna find some music, something that fits the vibe of the video. I already found mine. It took a little bit of searching, but if you have one of those music subscription platforms, you can use those to get music. If you make music, that's good too. Whatever you can get, basically, but it does take some time finding the right music. So I thought this music was fairly relaxed and chill. It definitely fit the vibe of the place that we went to. We were just kind of hanging out at the waterfall for the day. So this is the music I decided to use. I've dragged a couple of clips in here already. This is just us showing up to the spot, just showing how basically bumpy and rocky the road was. I'll probably trim that down. And then these are just a couple of shots I've added already. So I thought this jumping shot was probably one of the best ones that we got, and I thought it might be interesting to actually add a title in here. You don't have to add titles, but I just like to add titles to mine because it just gives me a little bit more work to do in After Effects, which I'm a big fan of. So let's go ahead and save this. We'll just call this the Lagoon. So here's our clip. We could probably even scale it down a little bit more. Let's try like 73, maybe even 70. So 70 is a little too small. This is because I shot in 2.7K and I will be rendering in 1080. So I've scaled down the footage. So this looks pretty cool once it loads. So I'm gonna actually 3D track this scene and add a title in. You can just add a straight title. You can do this in Premiere as well. So let's just call this Paradise Lagoon. I want to center the anchor point, so I'm going to go to Transform, center anchor point into the center, and then I'm going to scale this down, maybe 150. That's looking pretty nice. We're going to have to center it again, and then let's also just center it into the view here. So the white kind of gets washed out in some areas. I am just going to add a glow, but I'm actually going to change that glow to black, so it just kind of helps distinguish it. I'm going to put the radius up a little bit. There we go, just so it helps kind of stick out. So what we could do, wait till Jack jumps, and then let's have it fade in right here. So I'm gonna start the stopwatch but drag the 100% out because I don't want it to be 100% there. I'm gonna put it to 0, right click on the last one, ease it in. Let's also play with the scale since we are backing up. Let's hit the scale there. It's at 100. Let's try about 80 here. And let's just quickly render the preview out and see how that looks. So that's looking okay. If we want to take it a step further, which we will, I'm actually going to 3D track this scene, and then if you also wanted to add a little bit more, you could actually mask my friend out here and have him over top of the text. That will just add a little bit of dynamics to it and show like a little bit more of the scene. It will make it a little bit more 3D. So let's just go ahead and delete this, and what we're gonna have to do is actually mask my friend out so the tracking doesn't get interrupted by that. I'm gonna go down to third. Okay, so here he is. I'm gonna press G to bring up the pen tool, and we're just gonna do a rough mask just to make sure that this is out of the scene. We're gonna press M on the keyboard to bring up our mask and start tracking the path. Okay, so let's actually click on the mask to select everything, drag it down. And basically all we're going to do is go by frame and just have a rough mask of him out. That way when the automation of the camera tracker is going, it's not going to account his movement into the track. That will just kind of change the points up. Okay, now it looks like we have a rough enough track. The water splash might interfere with the track, but let's just go ahead and see what this looks like. I don't think you need the most detailed track. We're just getting rid of most of the motion that is not part of the camera movement. So let's go over to our tracker on the right hand side. If you don't have it there, just go up to the window and select the tracker, and with the footage selected, we are going to click track camera. One thing I forgot to do, since this footage is slowed down and scaled down, I actually need to pre-compose the footage first before I can track the camera. So what I did was just highlighted it, Control-Shift-C. I moved all the attributes into the new composition, and then that allows me to add the the camera tracker on top. Okay, now that we have it pre-composed and the camera tracker is done, let's just go ahead and see the points that we have here. So this is looking alright. Let's find a point that we think could be useful. I think the edge of this rock will probably work best, so we'll create a null and a camera. And then from there, let's go ahead and type in Paradise Lagoon again. Let's press F4 to bring up our options and turn that to 3D. We're going to center the anchor point in the layer, and then we are going to take the position and copy that onto our text, and then we are going to move it over and back up. So basically we just wanted it to be on the same Z position where that rock is, and then we're actually going to scale it up, center that again. We could probably bring it down a little bit, and I'm gonna add that glow again just to help it stand out. And then when we preview it, we can see it's tracked onto the scene. We might even want to scale it up a little bit more since it zooms out so much. So let's go ahead and scale that up. That looks about good from here. We might actually want it down because it wouldn't make sense since it's supposed to be at the same edge of the rock. Well, that actually isn't the worst. And we can also turn this footage off and turn back on our original footage. I'm gonna turn down the opacity. Actually, I might try changing the transparency mode. So I duplicated it, changed it to lighten, just scene. I think that looks pretty good. It blends in a little bit more with the background. It's a little bit see-through. If we really wanted, we could mask out my friend here. Just a little bit of mask when he goes over it. You will have to go frame by frame, but it would definitely be worth it to do. I won't do it for the tutorial. So select both. I'm just going to center it here. And that looks pretty good.